Thank you for that, Tony. That was really sweet. You know, what I think is great about what he just said, and most of you that have seen me speak know I'm not rehearsed. What we do, we can never rehearse for. We don't know what one client is going to say each time, right? But the one thing I want y'all to do is, instead of saying good morning to me, I want y'all to say, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Nuh-uh. Lester and Kim, no, that's not good. We're going to do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Hey, y'all. All right, y'all almost got it. Okay, so y'all know I don't read slides because you passed the insurance exam. You know how to read, okay? Anything I have is yours. None of my material is proprietary. The Queen of the Bundle is trademarked. Spouse in the House is trademarked. But one of the things that this industry is doing wrong is we're so caught up in what we can't do, we don't do what we should do. I don't care if you've been the Medicare Superstore, the Medicare Superstar, the best Medicare advisor in your land of the free. So what that you don't get to use Medicare? That's not who you are. That's a government term. You are advocates. You are advocates. You are more important to your clients than their doctors ever will be. Because without you, there's no money for that doctor. And the last time I checked, they don't work for free. Neither does your mechanic. And I can tell you, hairdressers don't. You don't have hair like this and not pay for it. Now, I was born with awesome hair, but it would be gray as it all get out if I didn't go take care of myself. So one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is this little slide right here. And if you've seen me present, you know I bat all around because I'm like you. Next to being a wife, a mother, grandmother, insurance agent is probably the best title I've ever gotten to hold. And you too. We change people's lives. You make their lives where they can sleep at night. If you're in health insurance, you're a better financial planner than any financial planner in the room. Sorry to my friend Ron and Tracy, but we're protecting assets so that they can invest them with the best financial planners. If you're not selling life insurance, I want to know why. 1 out of 1 still die, y'all. And it's only on 20% of the population. Just think about all the burden that's fallen on children. They don't get to grieve their parents before they grieve the loss of their 401ks or their bank accounts. You've got to do a better job of selling everybody. What changed my business model and how I wrote $120 million in 1 year in Just Med Sup alone was because we sold everybody something. My agents don't get to bitch about leads. Because when they tell me that lead's not interested, Michael, you know what I tell them? Why are you not more interesting? Because you have the insurance agent's dream. You got dental, vision, and hearing that's guaranteed issue. And I said something a while back, and it did come off crude. The good thing about it, everybody always asks me, why integrity? Why integrity? Well, there's a couple of good reasons for Gaylan. I get to go out and do what I was meant to do, and that's help you guys. But they also kind of let me just do what I want to do because, you know, I'm probably the oldest person in the industry right now. But I love what I do. And I love what you do. So my niece is here with me from Lubbock. She wanted to see me speak. She works in a Primerica's agency office. He's been in the business since 1974, right, Michelle? And everybody goes, oh gosh, Primerica, that's just a career organization. That's just a captive organization. That guy makes a crap load of money because he's disciplined. He has structure. You know why brokers go broke? They have no discipline. They have no structure. So true story, and this is probably the biggest failure of my life. And it happened about a year after I joined Integrity. I knew I was not going to have the time to feed into my internal agents like I had done because there was a mass audience like in here and everywhere I go. April 19th, I'd only been home 13 days because I'm out talking to folks like y'all, which I love. But every agent in my DTC team was on the Manhattan leaderboard or the Aetna leaderboard or the Cigna leaderboard. We graduated them, and not one of them are on a leaderboard. But these were the agents pounding their chest going, man, she's making all that money because of me. You've been there. You've said that. That's stinking thinking. Your mindset is what's going to make you make this happen. Now, I was in Agent Pipeline about a month ago, and we showcased this to Scott French, and he goes, how come it's taking somebody so long to come out with something so simple? And I said, because y'all don't do it. We need to do better. And Lester a while ago, he says, Gaylan makes me look bad. And I go, no, you make me look good. You know, that's what partnership is, right, Lester? It's being accountable for what we don't do and learning how to do it better for our clients. And it's about asking the right questions. And so when I was preparing for this, okay, now it says I've already talked 24 minutes. Y'all got to figure out this clock because I have not been out here 24 minutes. But I want you to write down some things because I want you to walk away from this conference saying, hey, what I spent for that conference, I got back over and over and over and over. Because a couple years ago, I looked down the road and I was like, man, we got a whole lot of conference junkies and we don't have any convention people. And I know y'all know that's not what I really said, but I'm being recorded, so I won't say what I really said. You need to be at conventions. That's where the best producers are. A lot of you write Med Advantage and you don't get the invite there because you're not writing guaranteed renewable product. You know what guaranteed renewable really means? Guaranteed renewal. None of y'all wrote that down? You're looking at me, and I love that. That's very complimentary. Write that down. Guaranteed renewable equals guaranteed renewal. And that's why we decided to sue the federal government. Because they were putting people in plans that are 12-month plans. ACA plans, 12-month plans. Med Advantage plans, 12-month plans. Group plans, 12-month plans. It's a form of socialized medicine. When a person gets diagnosed with cancer, if you're on the Med Advantage plan, that if you go out and you look at the actuarial memorandum on it, you'll see all the stuff they stripped out because they're giving Part B dollars back to the client. Why are they doing that? Because they're doing cost-saving measures, which is 9 out of 10 times prescribing chemo instead of it being administered. How many of you have dogs or pets? Okay. So when you go to the vet and they say, hey, we can give you this pill and you can take it home and give it to them, or we'll give them an IV and it goes right in their system and we can literally get them hopefully staying alive. What are you going to do? You're going to go the chemo route. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. How many of you have seen me speak? Let's start there first because I'm changing it up. And it started at this conference last year when everybody says, we've never heard you be that passionate and get down with people and tell them what they need to do like you did then. And we like that. Well, that's just being a good coach, right? If you have a good coach, they're going to work your butt off. But at the end of the road, you're going to be thankful. So you need to write down, what did I get out of this conference? And then you need to write down the secret formula for success. I get asked this about 10 times a day. How'd you do it? Gosh, you were a female and you've been doing it for 38 years and we're in a male-dominated business. And 2 weeks ago, I said something that was pretty ballsy. Is that allowed on camera? I hope so. It just got said. I said, why do you not like the men in the insurance industry? And it was about what y'all just did. It was that quiet. And I said, because I have never walked up to a bar stool and said, hey, Tony, can I sit down here and talk with you a little bit? And be told no. I have never been told no. In the annuity business, I had my person set my appointments. I will not go see them if they don't have 2 years of tax returns out. Do you know how hard it is for an annuity guy to ask for tax returns? I can't ask them for that. That's their private information. Damn straight. How are we going to do a good job for them if we don't get private? We've got to be better at being okay. We got to be better than the mechanic. We got to be better than the hairdresser. We got to be better than the doctor. We got to be okay asking for the package of protection sale. If y'all sold this package 3 times a week, you would make, what's that number, Josh? Because I don't have my glasses on right now. On the very bottom, can you read that number?
421,884.
Okay, 400. Now, don't raise your hands. This is a rhetorical question. I don't want anybody to embarrass themselves. How many of you are making $421,000 a year right now? I know you are. Hush. How many? Okay. Everybody can, and everybody should, and everybody will if they follow me. How many of you believe that? There are several of you in this room that have walked up to me and said, Gaylan, my income's already doubled since I started following you. I didn't even know about cross-selling. My FMO didn't even tell me about it. My FMO doesn't even know about it. Well, dude, that's because your FMO's telling me you won't do it. Integrity did a sizzle reel on LinkedIn last week, and it says over and over. And it's me saying, your FMO said no, your FMO said no, your FMO doesn't do it. And I was like, my partners hate me. Y'all take that down. But at the end of the day, it's a true statement. Your FMO has gotten stuck in a rut because a lot of agents have put them there. When they call to offer you the newest, greatest product, your response typically is, my client won't even listen. I'm having a hard time getting leads. I don't get the support I need. Well, I was on a call 2 days ago and they were asking me, as an FMO, what do I expect of my agents for AEP? And to me, this was a very simple answer. I expect them to advocate for their clients. And not just T65, all clients. How many of you sell in the underage 65 market? How many of you ask a client if they have a roommate or a spouse in the house to get a discount? Okay? How many of you are selling those people that give them the discount that's under 65? That's sickening. So we got to fix that. So there you go, Christian. That was my first jab at the audience. Okay. So next thing, structure plus discipline equals success. Why do I know this formula? Structure is built from your failures. Structure is built from your failures. Discipline is built from the knowledge you gain from the failures. That's been the story of my life. When I fail, I put it in my bank of knowledge, and I use it for the next success. I've been through more negative changes than anybody in this room because I can look around you and I can guess your age. But every time I went through one of those negatives, it made my business amazing. When everybody was bitching, moaning, and groaning about the standardization of Medicare, my boss said, let them all jump out the window. We are going to make this rock. We were the #1 med sup producer that year and had never been on a leaderboard. We took advantage of everybody else's negativity. There is one thing, well, there's two things. Sandra will tell you this. I am happiest in the mornings. I stay up all night because I love hanging out with y'all. But the other thing about me is that I want to be around positive people. When people start getting negative, I walk away. I don't say you're negative and I don't like you. I'm going to put your name all over Facebook about how awful you are. I just walk away and I go do my thing. You guys have got to get in your lane. Not everybody's supposed to be a recruiter. The old Amway, Rita, recruiting is not the answer for everybody. Not everybody in this room is meant to build an empire.
This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes is going to be your one-stop shop when it comes to your Medicare and final expense needs. People ask me all the time, Christian, what type of lead is going to be the best quality for me to work? And I don't really quite know if the answer is going to be a digital marketing lead, a direct mail lead, or a telemarketed lead, but I can say that a telemarketed lead is going to be up there with the best of them in terms of quality. A telemarketed lead has unique quality to it because there's a live person that actually speaks to the prospective customer and gets their verbal consent that they're interested and willing to speak with a licensed agent just like you. Whether it be a pre-scheduled Medicare appointment with a scope of appointment captured and then scheduled on your calendar 48 hours out, or whether it be a custom calling campaign where you call the shots, where your scripts are used, where it's the areas of your choosing, when it's the times of the day that you're choosing. Custom calling is where you pay by the hour, and essentially it's a custom campaign built to your liking. Lead Heroes has got you covered for all of these unique type of marketing needs for agents. There's a link down in the description of this video about Lead Heroes. You can learn more about these incredibly unique lead generation services, and I think you'll want to check it out today so you can continue to grow and explode your business.
You know, I joke all the time that when this road's over for me, I'm going to build me a little bitty shack in the country, probably West Virginia, because I know they'll give me all the leads they can give me because they know I'm good. And I'm just going to sit there and sell people because I love helping people. None of us come to this business to help people. We stay in this business because we love to help people. We all come here, and that's okay. Own it. God promises us joy and prosperity. That's another reason why integrity. They let me talk about my faith all day, all along, and they don't censor me. So I hope I answered all y'all's questions about integrity. That's the last time I'm going to say that. Now, success comes to those willing to do the work. You got to be willing to do the work. Now, I wrote down some quotes because this is what I do every morning. I spend 1 hour, 30 minutes of building my head full of quotes. So that's what I brought to this meeting today. Exactly what I do to get where y'all see is way up here. You got to remember, a lot of you in this room started making money a whole lot younger than I was. I didn't go out and build my own business till I was 40 years old. I had built 2 other businesses, owned some stock in one of them, but I was 40 years old. My promise to me and my husband and my son was that I would be debt-free in 18 months with $1 million in a bank account in 3 years. I was debt-free within a year, and I had that $1 million within 2. That is what makes us good at what we do. We have structure. So the first thing is we don't work Monday and Tuesday and play golf Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We don't work Monday and Tuesday and go spend all our money at the Louis Vuitton store. By the way, y'all know I have a purse addiction. That did not happen until I was 50 years old. I made sure I was out of debt. I made sure I would never be a burden on my son. I made sure his college education was paid for. I give back to the Ronald McDonald House because that's what I'm commanded to do by my boss. And even though Ryan Kimball and Brian Adams are my bosses, they say they're not. They say they work for me, which they know they don't. But God is my boss. And everything I do, thank you, everything I do is based on when I leave this earth, what I've left my clients, what I left my carrier partners. A lot of y'all know I had a huge trial with a guy that I fired. And I can't go into a lot of detail. But what I did with that, I remember Brian Adams going, I just cannot believe all your carriers love you. They've not terminated you. And I go, because I told them before it ever happened. See, we've got to be better at communication. The more you feed into yourself each morning, the better communicator you become with your clients. So these are quotes I wrote down, and I think they're really good because of all these people, I know two of them. So you have quotes out there that you say to people that are memorable. Just because the daughter of Mrs. Jones doesn't know who you are, doesn't mean that what you did wasn't important. See, I own that. And I'm about credibility. So success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. So if you're not doing the same thing over and over and over, you will never see the success from that idea. It doesn't mean your idea was bad. It means your work ethic was. Okay? Your heart must always be in it. Josh, why do you do what you do? You love it and you love your family, my friend, and I love that about you. I got to meet his wife this last year. She's amazing. I joke with Josh and say, she's the reason you're a success. This guy works his ass off. That's why he's a success. Thank you for everything you do for this industry. I appreciate you. But your heart must always be in it. That's part of an entrepreneur's DNA. I had never read that till last night. And I'm like, I'm going to create a whole training around that quote. We're all entrepreneurs in this room. It doesn't matter if you're a career agent or you're a broker. You're an entrepreneur. You are a leader. You don't have to have vice president out beside your name to be a leader. You're leading in circles that you don't even know you're leading. Success doesn't come to you. You go to it. How many of you have sat there and go, gosh, Michael makes all this money and I'm just sitting here waiting for his leads to come into my account so I can make what he does? I taught my people that when you're at the end of your day, you write down how many men you left unprotected from cancer insurance and how many women. And we're going to call them back the next day. And we're going to say, my boss said, in order for me to keep my job here, I'm going to have you sign a form that you're saying no to cancer insurance. Because she just doesn't believe in us not getting no 3 times. Her dad died of financial devastation. I don't know that my dad would have made it 3 years, but I know he would have lived longer than 5 weeks and 5 days because he kept saying over and over to himself, and he was the most positive man I knew. He's the reason I'm the success I am. He said, I wish the death would just come sooner because I have life insurance. But I sell a whole lot of short-term recovery care because I believe in it, because people wait too long to buy long-term care. A lot of my annuity friends I used to hang out with go, I'm not going to sell health insurance. I'm not going to sell long-term care. That's for those agents. I quit an annuity career when I was at the top of my game. I was at the top of the leaderboard with 3 carriers, even to go to one conference and be announced as the winner and walk up and the man for American Life and Casualty said, look, he sent his assistant to get his award. Because Gaylan Hendricks was the number 2 producer that year. I simply walked over and I go, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Schroeder. My name is Gaylan Hendricks. And he goes, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I said, no worries. I've been called a guy my whole life, but it's cool. Next year I'm going to be number 1, and I was. That's the difference. When you say it, you believe it. When you say it, you believe it. And then this last one I think is really great. A goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. So let's talk about our competition. Everybody in this room thinks it's Joe, JJ. They don't have a license, y'all. Nobody knows who they are. They're has-beens. You're not a has-been. You're a now. If you didn't get that, I'm going to say it again. You are not a has-been. You are now. What is now spelled backwards, Josh? One. I won that customer because I did what's right for that customer. This package of protection right here, some of you negative Neds and Nellies, and I know we don't have any in the room, but I'm just going to say it in case we're being recorded, which I know we are. You see right up here on this bundle, there's no ACA plan, there's no MedSup, no MedAdvantage, because those are your feeder plans. Anybody can sell those. And guess what? Anybody does. You don't have to hire a salesperson to sell those plans, because all you got to do is say it's free, it's 0 premium. This is the sales part of it. A lot of you are doing too many pats on the backs for how many members you have in MedAdvantage, how many MedSup clients you have. But the truth be known, anybody could do that. And guess who knows that? The big carriers, the federal government. What's the biggest expense to a carrier and the MedSup, MedAdvantage space? You. That's right. So I was talking to Steve Patton one time years ago about rates on MedSup. And I said, I have a feeling you guys are fixing to take these contracts from all these FMOs if they're not writing ancillary because you're not getting any profitability. And he goes, please don't spread that out there because everybody follows you. And I go, but it's the truth because there's only 100 pennies in a dollar. And I get it. I get it. When we build this package of protection, you don't have to worry about Joe. You don't have to worry about JJ. You're your own competition. Your person sitting next to you is your biggest competition. But you do so much damage in here that you don't get it out here. And Chris or Zach or Josh or anybody who's been following me on this bundle, they're going to steal your client because they're going to build them a package of protection that keeps them sticky to them. When you call them, they're going to go, hey, Josh is my agent. I don't need you calling me. Take me off your list. He not only has my insurance, he has my daughters, he has my sons. Because I'm starting to teach agents now. Everybody asks me, how do you stay so relative? I say, because I always want to surprise y'all. So now what I'm coaching is to teach you how to sell the beneficiaries' kids. Not the kids to buy from you for the kids, but the kids to pay the parents' premium. How many people would rather spend $1 a day for their mom and dad and keep them alive than pull that money out of their 401k and have a tax penalty? So, Ms. Jones, I have the solution. I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me you got to think about it because you got to check with your son or daughter. Fantastic. What's their phone number and what's their name? Let's get them on the phone. Let's take care of business today. You're retired. I don't expect you to do my job. You don't want to work. If you have to tell them everything I said, you're working. What's their number? That's what 2020 gave us in a gift. How many of you believe 2020 was a gift and not a sin? Amen. My business doubled in 2020. If your business didn't double in 2020, you didn't do your job. Write that down if y'all didn't. So let's stay in your lane that makes you go fast and steady. So comfort comes from this. Write this down. Debt freedom. How many of you want debt freedom? Good. Savings accounts. Providing college educations for your kids. Retirement. I had the pleasure, not the job, the pleasure of providing for my mother financially after my dad left. It was an absolute pleasure, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Not being a burden on your children. That's the one thing seniors hate. Everyone says, Gaylan, what was the easiest? You should be asking me what was the hardest. right? So when people ask me what was the hardest, I always say all of it. It's all hard, but work's not a 3-letter word, fun. Doesn't mean we can't have fun doing it. The next question, what was the easiest? Nothing. 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 Was it worth it? Abso-effing-lutely. I always say, you won't hear me say GD, you might hear me say the F-bomb. So I practice the golden rule. I have fun doing this job. I want to take care of others. I know haters are going to hate. I'm going to be kind to everybody I meet. And thank you, Tony Merwin. I love you, brother. That is why insurance agents are more valuable than any client's doctor. We are good people. How many of you have parents who are seniors? How would you want them treated? So let's talk about how to beat the voices in our head. Y'all been waiting for that all day. Don't be afraid of compliance. It gets you more business. I have a pitch I've had for years that carriers have offered to pay me thousands of dollars for. And I say CMS 5 times in the first 2 minutes. And I say, look, I'm going to tell you everything you can buy today, and in 48 hours, I'll tell you about that zero premium plan. Because when we start down that road, my friend, we're not going to be able to talk about life insurance. We're not going to be able to talk about annuities because that's a CMS rule. They hadn't even signed the scope yet. I get it out. I get it out there. Taught every agent in our office to say that, okay? Then I say, so what we're going to talk to you about today is the plan you really should take, which is a Medicare supplement, because you got a one-and-done time on that. It's not like Obamacare where you can just come in anytime you get sick. This is your one moment. Let's put you in a plan in. You need a budget cut? Fantastic. We'll take you back to zero premium. But build guaranteed renewable in your portfolio. So I'm going to show y'all one thing in this slideshow. Y'all are going to get all this, and y'all can go out to my YouTube. But this right here, let me go back just one. Christian, bear with me just a minute. I'm going to give some powerful stuff right here. We're getting ready to launch this nationally. I have Integrity Partner Agent Pipeline in the room. We're going to kick it off with them. But this is the Wikipedia of how I do the bundle, okay? This is how the watch is made. You're not going to go over this with all of your clients, but you've got to know this, okay? Josh, you and I are fixing to work together, and I'm going to bring you a book of under age 65 you're going to leave me in your will with. So, because that boy's going to out-earn me. I mean, I'm going to be 60 in 2 months. This boy's going to do 10 times better than me. And so are you, and so are you. So is everybody in this room. But you got to learn. But you got to listen first. And then you got to do. So this right here, this is a no-subsidy, high-net-worth client. When we sued the federal government with Manhattan Life, top tip, it says here, where are you? Stand there. Manhattan Life is one of my most valuable partnerships to date. David Harris put up several $1 million to fight the federal government, and I was the only testimony. We won in the first court, then we won in the Supreme Appellate Court. We changed law, and we're letting the other providers play in the space because David Harris says that's the right thing to do. I had other ideas, Josh, just for the record. But this right here, you'll see this client. This is based on me, and y'all hang with me on this because this is really important. This will take your income to $400,000. I promise you, if you do my system, you'll make $400,000. So I want everybody to look up at me a minute. Who wants to make $400,000 a year and is willing to do the work? Okay, that's good. Half of you. I got to talk to the other half. We got to figure out what's wrong with you. But anyway, this ACA claim is in the middle, right? You see right there, this customer, see all the way down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where it says total paid to client. What's that number on the left-hand side? Shout it out. Zero. Look on the other side, same block, total paid to client, $37,050. What did they net in their bank account? $6,757.20. Why do I sell the package of protection? Because I'm doing the right thing for my client. You should too. Now, this is the client that gets their health insurance paid for free by the government. I've never had that a day in my life. If you have, you're not making enough money. So right here, down there, total paid to the client is zero. Premium for 12 months is $0. Great stop loss plan, right? We always ask them if they want an ACA plan. If we can get them one, we're going to get them one. But let's go back over to the other side. Total pay to the client. What's that number again, Chris? Shout it out.
Net gains,
Nope, total pay to client, right there.
15,000.
Nope, 37.
37,000.
Yep. What was the net gain, Zach?
What's that?
What did the client make net?
$21,252.
I should end right there, but I'm not going to. Okay, these are the most common bundles. If you don't know this, it's out on my stuff, but this is how you get hold of me. Who's called me in this room and I've taken your call or I've responded quickly? I'm very quick. And if I'm not, Mandy tells you. Connect with me. I've talked to a couple of people that said they were afraid to come up and talk to me last year. Do not be Tony Merwin. Come up and talk to me. Just kidding you, bro. But I love all of you guys in this room, and that's why I'm so hard on you. I want you to be the best version of yourself you can be. Thank you for all the love you give me. Thank you for what you've done for me and my self-esteem and my family. But thank you for what you do for this industry that I'm leaving in better hands. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for having me.